The cameras don't blink, they don't forgive, and they never forget, and once you notice the pattern, it's impossible to unsee it. This isn't about one awkward step or a misunderstood glance. This is about a trail of moments, allegedly caught in real time, where the spotlight doesn't just find her, it's pulled.
Really awkward encounter after she tried to join her husband and his polo teammates on stage after a match last week. Now, it's just so cringeworthy. I don't know why she's up there, for one.
It's revealed that Meghan Markle actually invited herself to this Paris Fashion Week show earlier this month. Now, the Balenciaga designer has claimed that she reached out and she said she would love to come to the show.
Oh my God!
Today, Hamburg. Thank you very much, Mr. Tonga, for putting on such a great day here at the Again, a big thank you to all of those who provided more.
So overwhelmed by this experience, I think I even saved my little paper place card that said my name on it. Proof that I was there. And proof that I belonged. Because the truth was, I wasn't sure that I belonged. I was so nervous.
Meghan Markle has a habit many people can't stop talking about. She puts herself first no matter who's standing next to her, and the cameras have caught it again and again. These aren't rumors, these aren't opinions. These are real moments caught on camera where Meghan steps ahead, takes the center spot, or shifts the focus straight onto herself. Sometimes it's subtle, other times it's impossible to miss. What makes these moments so uncomfortable is how often they happen when they shouldn't. Group events, shared victories, serious occasions, yet somehow the attention keeps circling back to her. In this video, we're breaking down Meghan Markle's most talked about me first moments. Clips that sparked backlash, confusion, and endless debate online. Some will make you shake your head, others will make you rewind just to be sure you saw it right. And trust me, the last one changes everything. It's the moment that made even her biggest offenders go quiet. So don't skip, watch closely, because once you see the pattern, it's impossible to unsee. And right from the start, that's the warning. This isn't loud scandal, it's quiet, creeping, almost surgical. The kind of behavior that doesn't scream, it slides. One step forward here, one chair switch there, one subtle repositioning until suddenly the entire frame is hers. Take the Commonwealth Service moment, a place where order matters, where movement is deliberate, where everyone knows exactly where they're meant to be. And yet right there, in a setting built on restraint, she allegedly made a move that froze viewers. Chairs were jumped, positions were changed, not out of confusion, not because of chaos, but because the front row, the camera-facing row, was calling. What made it sting wasn't just the move, it was how unnecessary it was. Patience would have worked, waiting would have worked, but waiting doesn't guarantee visibility, and critics say that's the point. When the footage later vanished from official broadcasts, it didn't erase the moment. It amplified it. People noticed. People replayed it. And people started asking why visibility always seemed to matter more than protocol. And that question only got louder, because it didn't stop there. Another public appearance, another carefully staged event, another moment where the natural flow was suddenly broken by a forward push, quick, decisive, and impossible to miss. No hesitation, no shared rhythm. Just a clean step into the front, as if being anything other than the focal point was simply not an option. Watch the faces around her in those clips. That's where the real story lives. The pauses, the sideways glances, the split-second recalculations from people who clearly weren't expecting that move. You don't need sound. You don't need commentary. The discomfort is written all over the room. And here's the twist no one expected. The attention she allegedly chased didn't land the way she wanted. The applause wasn't there. The admiration didn't follow. Instead, what went viral was the awkwardness, the tension. the unspoken question of why that moment had to be taken at all. Then came Nigeria, May 2024, a moment so uncomfortable it almost didn't need explanation. A gift presentation, a clear gesture, a clear recipient, and yet before the moment could even breathe, she stepped in. The gift was taken, and then, just as quickly, redirected, corrected, politely but unmistakably. The smile that followed, tight, frozen. The kind of expression people recognize instantly because it appears right after control slips. And once again, the cameras didn't flatter, they exposed. What was meant to look confident suddenly looked like a miscalculation, a power move that didn't land, and still, the pattern continued. At a joint engagement approaching a car, rank mattered, order mattered, everyone knew it, or at least everyone except the person edging forward. One step, then another, a pause, a correction, a moment so tense you could feel the air thicken. When the Queen hesitated, she leaned again, testing the moment, critics say, seeing if it could be claimed. Eventually, the situation was smoothed over, but the damage lingered, because what should have been seamless became something else entirely, a visible struggle between protocol and personal positioning. Then there was the walkabout, somber, heavy, not a place for ego, not a place for subtle power plays. And yet viewers noticed it instantly, the cold nod, the early handshakes, the way attention quietly drifted away from where it was meant to be and snapped right back to her. Small gestures, big implications. And the polo trophy moment? That one made people rewind. A teammate's win, a team celebration, a trophy box not meant for her, reached for anyway, pulled back, an awkward duck under raised arms, a forced re-entry into the frame. You can see it in the players' faces, the confusion, the strained smiles, the silent agreement that something about this wasn't right. Again, critics say it wasn't support. It looked like interference, like visibility mattered more than the victory itself. By the time cameras caught her stepping ahead near the crown jewels, only to be physically stopped by staff, the contrast was impossible to ignore, especially when moments later, another royal walked the same path without incident. No rush, no correction. Just quiet understanding of when not to move. Because if this were just one moment, it would have faded. If it were two, it could be dismissed. But stacked together, lined up, they start to look less like accidents and more like habit. And this is where the story stops being subtle and starts feeling deliberate. Because once you start watching how often Prince Harry disappears from the frame, you can't unsee it. On stage, during appearances that were meant to be shared, she doesn't stand beside him. She doesn't mirror him. She steps in front of him, blocks him, plants herself dead center while he becomes background noise at his own event. Cameras catch it cleanly, the gentle nudge from him, the silent request to stand together, and her refusal to move an inch. Feet planted, eyes forward, frame secured, people nearby notice. You can see the irritation flash across faces. Someone glances toward her, waiting for the correction that never comes. What should have read as partnership suddenly feels like positioning, not confidence. Control. And then Paris Fashion Week happened, or rather forced itself into existence. Because critics say this wasn't an invitation earned through fashion relevance. This was a self-insert, a reach out, a she would love to come. And just like that, the cameras followed. Not the designers, not the collections, her. Every step looked calculated, every movement angled. In a world that rewards subtlety, she allegedly chose spectacle, loud presence in a quiet space. And when attention still didn't land the way she wanted, something darker followed. A location tied to grief, trauma, loss. A place that isn't content, especially not for Prince Harry. And yet, cameras rolled. A video was filmed. And viewers felt it instantly, that cold pit in the stomach, because this wasn't reflection. It looked like performance. Sacred ground turned into backdrop, and the backlash wasn't slow, it was immediate, because some lines, once crossed, don't fade. Then came the charity moment that should have been clean. Simple. A trophy. A cause. A chairwoman standing where she was meant to stand, until she wasn't. A gesture. A reposition. A subtle instruction to move. And suddenly the frame belonged to someone else. The chairwoman adjusted, Harry shifted off center, and the cause? Forgotten. Replaced by another silent power move caught on camera. By the time the One Young World speech arrived, people were already watching differently. Because this wasn't a platform meant for her story, it was meant for the young leaders in that room. People risking everything, building futures, changing systems, and yet within minutes the focus drifted inward. 34 self-references in 7 minutes. Her nerves, her journey, her validation. I was so overwhelmed by this experience. I think I even saved my little paper place card that said my name on it. Proof that I was there and proof that I belonged. Because the truth was I wasn't sure that I belonged. I was so nervous. Oh, applause followed, but not for the room. For her. And that's when critics say it clicked. This wasn't inspiration. It was reassurance seeking. An event designed to uplift many reduced to one person's reflection. And then came the British Fashion Awards, scripted, timed, locked, until it wasn't, because she walked on stage anyway. No cue, no warning, organizers scrambled. Rosamund Pike stepped aside, visibly caught off guard. The flow broke, the room froze, and she took center stage like it had always been hers. Not bold, disruptive. Hamilton followed. Charity night, formal setting, cameras rolling, and then the elbow. Quick, sharp, just enough to break formation and secure the front. The men startled, others paused. She didn't. Because once again, the rule was clear, get seen. Invictus Games 2023 should have been untouchable. Wounded veterans, sacrifice, honor, and yet there she was, walking in front of them, leading, framed ahead of people who earned that moment with their bodies. For many viewers, that wasn't awkward. It was offensive, because if there was ever a moment to step back, this was it. Then, Fiji. Pink dress, smiles, waves, until the mask slipped, just for a second. A hiss, a curl of the lip, a flash of irritation caught by the lens before it vanished. Critics called it the real moment, the one she didn't know was being filmed. Later reports claimed the man involved was left shaken. And suddenly, the polished image cracked. And finally, the pattern closes where it began, with Prince Harry. The hand tugs. The quick pulls forward, the half step behind him every time she secures the lead. Over and over again. Group walks turned into silent struggles for the front, unity replaced by choreography. And once you notice how often he reacts instead of leads, it changes everything. Because when one moment repeats itself across countries, events, causes, and years, it stops being coincidence. Different settings, same behavior. And that's why people keep talking. Not because of hate, not because of rumor, but because the cameras keep catching the same story from different angles. And no amount of editing can erase a pattern once it's been seen. Once the spotlight becomes the goal, everything else becomes optional. Protocol, partnership, even purpose. And that's the controversy people can't stop replaying. People can't stop replaying. People can't stop replaying. People can't